Hey, this is Josh with today's Front End 5, where I break down a front end concept in 5 minutes or less. If you're learning about HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and beyond, I encourage you to like this video and subscribe to this series for more videos just like this every single day. Today, we're breaking down the HTML paragraph tag, which is created using the P, which stands for paragraph. So you can see this is a beginning paragraph tag, and over here, I have my ending paragraph tag. And of course, I have some text in between. So let's see what this looks like in the browser. If I come over to example one here, I can see that this is a paragraph of text and it's just rendered like normal text. So let's look at a different example. This is two paragraphs together. Now, one important thing to know about paragraphs is they're each by default going to take up the full line no matter how much actual space they take up. So when I see this in the browser, we'll see the top paragraph and we'll have this bottom paragraph. And when we look at that in the browser, we can see that no matter how much space the actual text takes up, the paragraph takes up the full line, which means it is a block level element. Several elements in HTML are like this. Paragraph is no exception. It takes up the full line when you create a paragraph, and it creates a new line when a new paragraph or other block level element starts. Now, one important thing to point out about paragraphs, a couple of important things actually. Number one, there is actually space by default that the browser includes in your paragraphs. So if I look at this bottom paragraph here, what I can see just by hovering over in my inspector is that we see this orange space. Orange by default is how the browser shows margin, and margin is a type of space that pushes other elements away from it. So we can see that we have, and if I look at the bottom right here, I'll zoom in a little bit so we can see this a little better. We can have 16 pixels of margin on the top and 16 pixels of margin on the bottom. So if you're seeing space between your paragraph that you didn't put there, that's probably the browser margin that's taking effect. How do we get rid of that margin? Well, that's pretty easy. We can add some CSS to do that. So I'm going to add a simple inline style tag here, and I'm going to target my paragraphs. I'm going to tell them that I don't want any margin on the top or bottom or the sides in this case. And when I save that and come back over, I shouldn't see that space anymore. So if you're having trouble with that, that's how you get rid of that. Another important thing to understand about paragraphs, which we'll look at an example for here, is that white space, this is true of really all of HTML, but it especially comes in handy in paragraphs to understand that white space is ignored by the browser by default. So if I look at this example in the browser, what I'm going to see is that even though I've added a new line character or pressed return or enter on my keyboard, I see those all in line right here. So it's not going to respect that white space. It's going to act as if there was only one space, and then it sees the next line like this. How do we fix that if we do want the white space to show? Well, once again, I'm going to use CSS to target my paragraph, and I'm going to say white space pre, which basically says, hey, keep the spacing that I add in this paragraph. So if we save this and go back to our example 4, once again, we see that we have the white space. It's now kept as is in the paragraph. And of course, I still have my space on top and bottom. I can get rid of that by doing the same thing that we did before and saying margin 0 and coming back. And actually the pre element is making it take up a little bit more space as well. So let's go ahead and save that like that and see if we get rid of our space. We do. Okay, so that worked really well. I hope this helps you understand paragraph tags a little bit better, when you should use them, how the browser styles them by default, and of course how you can affect a couple of those things with some simple CSS. If this helped you, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more videos like this. I'll see you in the next video.